Hey everyone, it's Karen and welcome. I wanted to just say hi. Some of you guys have been watching me journal my food preservation um, activities the last few weeks because it was end of season and we were going to a place where we could get our produce wholesale. We're pretty close to it actually. And so we were buying a lot of produce and I ended up, and it wasn't on my calendar, but what I wanted to talk to you about, I had a lot of questions about it. People saying, well, that looks kind of cool, and why do you do it, and why should I, and is it hard, especially when you're busy? So I wanted to share with you tonight about a way to preserve food and make your own fast food that's also clean, all right? Because preservatives are a big problem in our culture, and a lot of times we have to exchange the health of our food for the convenience of our food, and there's a way to do it and to save money because convenience food, as you know, is extremely expensive on a per pound basis, right? So I wanted to share with you what I did and how easy it is to dehydrate. And then I've got a few announcements of some things coming up later tonight even. I'm going to be doing a podcast live in about 40 minutes on nootropics and brain health and whether or not they work. Are they good for you? What do they even do? Do you need a prescription? So we're going to be talking about nootropics and the importance of brain health and memory and focus because that's really huge for everybody right now. And then we've got the beauty bar pop-up coming up Friday night. So those of you that love natural skincare and you just want your skin to look and feel awesome and you want it to be simple, let me know and I'll be happy to add you to our beauty bar pop-up group. So let's get into dehydrating. What is it? How is it different from freeze drying and canning? Let me just get right back here. A quick, these look horrible. These are some potatoes that I canned, and these were pressure canned because you have to pressure can them. And I did that. I'm not a canned potato fan, but my husband loves them, and we have a family member who has to watch the potassium. So pro tip, canned potatoes, cut the potassium level of the potato in half. But these had to be pressure canned, and pressure canning is great. It allows you to can things that are low acid and things like meat. These are pre-cooked now. So if we ever have to, I can just pop that lid off, eat them cold. We live in the country. I live in a hurricane zone. Running out of power might be a real issue some days, but this is one way to preserve food. It's probably the most time intensive, unless you've got a digital canner, which is a whole next level, right? But so I wanted to do that, or you could do what I did here and dehydrate potato slices. So why I like dehydrating, you can't dehydrate everything, but it's simple. It doesn't require precision. So if you're busy, you've got a lot of things on your plate, or you're just one of those people, if you struggle with focus, like your ADHD, or you have a baby or a toddler, right? Which is almost the same thing. Dehydrating doesn't require precision. It's almost hard to wreck dehydrating food. So that one's a really good thing to do, and you can dehydrate pretty much anything that's not got a lot of fat in it. That's the one thing about dehydrating, and you don't really care that those canned potatoes I just showed you probably good for years, and dehydrated food won't last that long. Freeze drying, my sister we were talking about this, and she said, well, I know somebody, she had a big thing and it was expensive. Oh, that's freeze drying. That's completely different. We're not talking about freeze drying. So I've got right here, I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to move my phone down and hopefully it'll be okay. This is my dehydrator. It's just a few trays, okay? And I've got my basil on it from my garden, drying it on low heat. I have a mesh tray underneath it. This is like $60 on Amazon or thereabouts. It's similar. It has the trays. I actually bought extra trays so I can have up to 6 trays on this, or 1 tray. And it'll do everything from low heat, so I can dehydrate my herbs, and they'll still look pretty good, all the way to a relatively high heat for making jerky. You can also use this, by the way. I refresh desiccants with it. Anything that needs to be kind of dried at a low heat, you can kind of use this. But these are really great if you want to get into dehydrating and you don't want to spend a lot of money, because what if you don't do it? These are really good. And I like the square size. And I got, this is, I'll pull it out so you can see it. It's a mesh tray. The actual tray has got, there's like a grid underneath. It's like a spoke. And I'm drying some grapes under there to make some seeds. Or you can make your own raisins if you feel like it. That's a good use, by the way. Dehydrating is a really good use of food that might be going bad. You don't know if you're going to get to eat it. Throw it on the dehydrator and preserve it. You eat it later. Don't worry about it. Don't throw it out. Don't force yourself to eat it. Use it later. But I paid extra for the mesh screens. And I'm really finding I dry everything on them because nothing sticks to them. But they're designed for very small things so that they will dry without falling through to the bottom. And this doesn't have an on or off switch. It's just always on. And like I said, you can't over dry something. So if you put it on, you're drying it overnight, you go to work, you forget about it, and you come home at lunch or at the end of the workday, it's still going, it's fine. That's what I love about it. So what do you do? How do you store it once it's dehydrated? There's a couple things you can do. I've also got Pretty Pro vacuum sealer. One of the things I love about my business is when I get my bonus check, my override check once a month, and I can get paid daily too, but I can get it once. I definitely gotten it once a month for like decades. I always treat myself to the really nice kitchen stuff. This is a vacuum sealer. I can make my own bags, but I can dry can. What dry canning is I put the dehydrated food in here. I stick a desiccant in it, and I pull out. You see the little tube? The little tube here. See it? I attach it to a lid. But this is already done, but I'll just kind of pretend. Put it on a canning jar and run it, and it seals it tight. So if I'm going to be saving food, like I may not get to this for a couple months, or even 6 months, or even a year, I'll vacuum seal it. If it's something I'm going to use right away, or I don't think it really needs that, I don't. So you can make this as simple as you want. Remember, dehydrating doesn't have a lot of rules. So some of the things I've made is my own candied ginger. Sliced it up. I think I threw it in boiling water for about a minute, just to kind of, that'll keep it from turning. Threw it on the dehydrator, and then candied it in some sugar. So I use this for my Thanksgiving turkey, and somebody has an upset tummy. This is not vacuum sealed. I was able to use, because all your jars have that you use, like this is a jam jar, right? It's pretty, but it has a rubber lid on it that still works. And then a very fancy homemade label. You can buy your own labels. You can make it as pretty as you want. I don't care if my pantry is Pinterest worthy or Instagram worthy. I care that I can find the food. This, I made my own potato slices. I actually made a couple jars worth. And right here is about 4.5, 5 potatoes. So dehydrating, one of the advantages is you can store a lot of food in smaller space because the water's gone. I sliced them, threw them in a boiling salted water for about 3 minutes, threw them on the dehydrator. And all I have to do is I can throw these, do you ever get those potato dish mixes? Those are all dehydrated or freeze-dried. I can just throw this into a pan, throw chicken broth on it or whatever, and bake it. It's good. I can rehydrate it and then fry it, do whatever I want with it. It's now convenience food. The amount of time to do this was really not very long at all. I threw it on the dehydrator, let it go overnight for a few hours, threw it in here, dry canned it in like about a minute and a half. Done. Done. I did the same thing with potato cubes. So next time I make stews or I want to do a stir fry, I'll literally just open this up, pull them out, throw them in my recipe. I don't have to cut them anymore. I did pineapple a couple of ways. It happened to be on sale during the summer, and so I thought, well, good use of pineapple. I like really chewing it. I rehydrated some for a carrot cake smoothie I made today. It's okay. I mean, the pineapple was okay, but I really like it as a snack. So I made some with a little bit of sugar and some plain. This is dry canned. This isn't. Pineapple. This, by the way, is about 6 pineapples between the two. I even pre-cooked my beans. My very fancy homemade label and index card and cooking and packing tape. I pre-cooked them in an Instant Pot. So while I'm making dinner, I started an Instant Pot of chickpeas. These are cooked and ready to go. I don't have to do anything anymore. If I want, I can grind them like this for chickpea flour if I want. I can throw them into a soup. They're already cooked. I can make a hummus with them. I can do whatever I want. It's all the cooking in it is done. And you see what I've got here? This one is not canned. These are the Desiccants from my vitamin bottles. I also have a package of Desiccants that I bought. I got this from Pack Fresh. I go right to their website and ordered it. Desiccants are used especially to keep the moisture out, right? Because that's the enemy of food is moisture. I made my own potato shreds and my own zucchini shreds. So it took a little bit of time, shredded them. If you have a food processor that'll shred it, just do that. It's right then it's like no time at all. It's got my desiccant in it. It's dry canned. But why did I do this? Well, and I've now got hash browns if I want them. I can now grind it for potato flour if I want it for bread. I can now throw them in a recipe. I can make an instant breakfast casserole, and I don't have to buy pre-cut, pre-made hash browns that have a lot of preservatives in them. All right, so it was cheaper, and these were locally grown potatoes, so they didn't have any of the green skin. It was really awesome. They were super fresh. Ditto with the zucchini shreds, shredded through the food processor. I blanch them for just a minute, just because I want the color to stay fresh, right? Put on the dehydrator. Same thing with parsnips. This is a bushel of parsnips. Well, half bushel of parsnips in less than a quart jar. They're all cut up. All I have to do, the hardest thing about this was peeling them. I did the same thing, right? You don't have to par cook a lot of stuff, parboil it. I just do because I want the color to stay fresh, and I don't want to use preservatives. So I did that, threw it on the screens you just saw, and just dehydrated them. And there's about 15 or 20 parsnips here. I don't have to buy them now. I can stir fry with this. I can throw them in a soup. I can rehydrate them and mash them if I want. Same thing with zucchini slices. Now these, you can see the brown spots. See the brown areas there? I didn't use any citric acid, which is also like a Stay Fresh that you can get in the canning food, canning jar aisle. But I bought citric acid from a natural food supplier that I buy from and treated them with that. These look a lot better. They hold the color better. Now I've got these 4 ratatouille already made along with my dehydrated. So I've got enough components here. I can put together a meal that's healthy, that's clean, super fast now. I don't have to worry about losing refrigeration. I don't have to worry about taking up freezer space. And by the way, I'm going to use these for cooking, but I use my dehydrator to make snacks. So I had taken because we bought a half bushel of zucchini, and so what are you going to do? I couldn't grow it this year, but I was able to buy it wholesale. And I sliced them real thin like this, tossed them with just a little bit of olive oil and some seasonings, and I made my own zucchini chips. I've got some sweet potatoes. I'm going to do that with 2. So dehydrating is a really good way to preserve food, create your own convenience foods, you make your own interesting things. Like this is probably, I don't know, $8 worth of candied ginger, but I was able to control the ingredients in it and the amount of sugar on it. Make it whenever I want. I think there's a power. It's really empowering to make your own food. I really enjoy doing it. I hope this blessed you. Again, I know some of you are looking at this going, oh, it's like so much work. It's really, really not. I might have a day. I don't like to cook every day, so I'll like bulk cook. I'll cook 2 or 3 or 4 meals in one day, and then we just eat them up, and then leftovers, and I cook again the following week. When I'm doing that, I'll do all this kind of crazy food prep in like a day or 2 on a weekend, and then it's done for several months. So coming up in about 40 minutes, we'll be talking about nootropics And that's going to be in my WomanWize Healthy Living group. So if you're not a member of that group, this is also being simulcast into that group right now. But if you're not a member of that group, just WomanWize Healthy Living, let me know. I'll add you to the group. It is a private group. And we have a lot of great conversations in there about clean eating, workouts, managing weight, PMS, all that kind of perimenopause right now is a bit of a topic. All those kinds of things, focus, ADHD is in the WomanWize Healthy Living group, and then the beauty bar pop-up on Friday night. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this to be encouraging. Really, it's important as much as possible for your own food security to make your own stuff. Get into dehydrating. I think once you try it, you'll really like it. Have a good day. Talk later. Bye-bye.